Hey guys, so guess what? It is Marketing Mondays, and I've decided to switch times a little bit. It's 4:30 my time. I've had a number of different people give different time suggestions for when Marketing Mondays would work for them. We're going to play around with a few different times and just see which one works the best. So right now it's 4:30, and we're going to be jumping today into. There's two big questions. I had a lot of different questions, but a lot of those questions, honestly, were with ads, Facebook ads. So I'm going to try and run through Facebook ads and encompass all the questions that came through for Facebook ads, which were, how do I set up my Facebook ads? What's the easy way to set up Facebook ads? How do I tell whether ads are converting? How do I track Facebook ads? How much should I spend on them? I'm going to try and answer all those questions for you guys in today's Marketing Monday. And the other question that I got was around hiring. So we had a whole bunch of questions around Facebook ads, one ad around hiring. Do you have a process for hiring? I do, and I'll show you my process for hiring. And this is after having thousands and thousands of applicants apply to work with us in the last company that I ran. So we came to a pretty good understanding of what we needed to do in order to hire the right people. And now it's a template that works really, really well for us. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a separate Facebook Live, which is going to be right after this one. So for this Marketing Monday, for this video, let's jump into Facebook ads and how we run Facebook ads in a small business that can convert. So what I'm going to say here is that Facebook ads can be super confusing and super challenging, and there are literally thousands of different variables that can go into a Facebook ad. So what I'm going to try and do for you guys today is try and keep it really simple and show you how am I creating Facebook ads that convert in under 5 minutes, and how am I using a very, very simple platform that allows me to do that, so that I don't get too confused with all the different variables, all the different things that you can play with within Facebook ads. So the way that I do this, guys, is I download an app for my phone. Let me see this recording thing. I don't know if this will stay here forever, but if you guys are watching my screen right now, there's an app called Facebook Ads. It's actually called Facebook Ads, or Facebook Adverts Manager, I believe, but this is what it looks like. So what I do, and I'm gonna have to go on my phone to do this. I can't do it from the computer, I don't think. So let's just check this out really quick. Actually, that's a good question. I wonder if I can. No. All right, so I'm gonna be going through this on my phone. So I click on that Facebook Ads app, and for me, this is what comes up. Now I've got a number of different businesses that I helped create ads for, but the business that we run as a family business, or at least one of them, I should say, is Cozy Cabins. So Cozy Cabins Nature Resort. I'm going to show you basically how I'm going to create an ad, or how I would create an ad within that platform. So what makes this really easy, let me see if I can move this for you guys. I'm going to move this all over. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. I'm just going to cover that up. All right, so that you guys can see this screen. So what I'm going to do is down in the bottom here where it says create an ad, I am going to click on that. So I click create an ad, and this is what's going to pop up. Now it's going to give you a number of different options, and right away this is where things can get a little bit confusing for us. So what we want to do in a perfect world, we want to click on get website conversions. However, you're only going to have that option if you have a Facebook pixel. So if you don't have a Facebook pixel, don't worry about it right now. It's something that's I would suggest getting in the future. But for this video, I'm not going to show you how to get a Facebook pixel, or even explain really what that is in detail. So if you have a Facebook pixel, we want to put that pixel on the last page that a prospect would go to, and that's either a contact page, or ideally it's on the sales page, or really the thank you page beyond the sales page, so that we know that that conversion came through. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. We're going to change that to drive traffic to your website. So if you do have a pixel, click on get website conversions. If you don't have a pixel, then drive traffic to your website. Because I do have a pixel, I'm going to go with get website conversions, and then it's just a little bit more detail in terms of what you can do there. If you have drive traffic to your website, then what's going to end up happening is it's going to be actually just a little bit more simple for you. So I'm going to click on this, get website conversions, because that's, I got to do it on my phone, because that's where we want to, that's what we want to do. We want to drive traffic to a certain page and know how many people are actually coming through for sales. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have the ability to select an image. So this will give you images that are on your Facebook page from your camera roll, previous ad images that you've used, or images that are from your Instagram. So here I select an image. I'm just going to select a random one because I don't plan on actually posting this ad. So I'm going to select this image. And then what we're going to do is you go up to this little arrow up here and you just move it forward and say, okay, that image works for me. Now it's going to ask you, because I've got a pixel, and my pixel right now is sitting on my contact page. That means I know someone went to the contact page at least. That's already there. That's what I consider to be a conversion event. Again, if you don't have a pixel, this won't show up, so don't worry about it, in which case you're just going to be driving people to your website. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can run ads. You can run ads directly to your homepage, or you could run them to a landing page. If you don't know what a landing page is or a sales page, then you can just run them to your website. I would suggest trying a few different pages on your website. This is just our standard website. We've seen pretty good conversions from actually driving people to our About Us page, because what they do is they go and they read about us, they read our story, and then they're intrigued. We've kind of sucked them in. In our About Us page, we explain a lot about who we are and what sets us apart, and that builds the love that person has for us, and they're more likely to make a booking just knowing more about us and more story and what we've done with the resort. So in a lot of cases, I'm going to direct traffic to the About Us page, so a page that's different just from the homepage on the website. It's going to give you the option of having, along with your image, adding a test image. And I'm going to ask you guys to always do that. So if you're running Facebook ads for your small business, and especially if they're not converting, if you're like, yeah, I'm putting ads out there, but they're not converting, then part of the reason that happens is because we run an ad at a time. We're like, oh, it doesn't work. And then we just try something else. And like, oh, that doesn't work. The way that we want to do this is we want to make sure that we're creating Facebook ads and we're always testing one ad against another. So we know at least, if we're testing two, we know at least one of them is going to be a winner. And then we're always trying to beat that winner. And that's the way that we get better and better and better and better at our Facebook ads. So I'm always going to add a test image. Now my phone timed out on me. And so I'm going to hit add test image. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to pick a different image, whatever that might be. So we'll try this one and boom. So now we've got two different images to test so we can see which one converts better. And what I can tell you guys from personal experience is that I am wrong. Probably I'm wrong at least as often as I'm right, if not more. So often I'll think, oh, you know what, this image, I think this image is the nicer image. It'll probably convert better. I'm often I'm wrong about that. So the only way to have a Facebook ad and know whether it's going to actually perform for you is to test it. Sometimes I get our clients coming to us and saying, hey, can you take a look at this ad and tell me how to get it to convert better? Well, you know, I'll tell you what I know from my own experience, and I'll tell you maybe how to improve what you're saying on the ad or change up a picture here or there. But at the end of the day, I don't know whether your ad's going to convert. The only way to do that is to go out and test it. And I want to test it against a few other ads to see what's actually winning. And then we get closer to understanding what is it that your audience is really looking for. So we always want to be testing. From there, you're going to have all these other options. You're going to have headline. Now your headline, I'm going to address this really briefly. I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples. The headline needs to be something that actually hooks your readers in. And what I've learned from studying headlines, I didn't make this up. This is something that I read in a book, I think called Tested Advertising Copy. It was written like back in the 80s, but it's a really good book. Or I think it's Tested Advertising Methods. Anyway, there's only 4 different kinds of headline. And in order of effectiveness, the best headline that you can create is a headline that addresses self-interest for the reader. So something that reader would be interested in improving themselves. The second most effective headline is a headline that uses a news style headline, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a second. Third most effective is something that induces curiosity. So you start a story, but in order to get the end of the story, you have to read the article or click on the ad or whatever it is. And then the fourth is the quick, easy way. So how to do something quick and easy. I've used all of those different headlines with success, but we want to make sure that we put a headline in here that actually offers at least one of those 4 things or combines one of those 4 things. So if I were to put a headline in here, guys, I would put, I'm just making this up on the spot, but let's say that we address something that's self-interest, a self-interest based headline. It might be, hey, whoops. Maybe, would you like to spend your vacation relaxing? Whoops, that's not relaxing at all. Relaxing with a glass of wine while watching your kids play in an open meadow. Now, this is a bit of a long one, which is okay. Which is okay. As long as you're within the character of the headline, you can have long headlines. Now, the text, this gets a little bit more convoluted, and there's a lot of different ways you can take your text. But really, your text, you just want to make sure it backs up your headline. I'm not going to change it. This is just a standard text that we have as a description of the resort. To be honest, I've never used this, but for the purpose of just showing you guys how to make an ad, I'm just going to leave it. Then what we're going to look at is, okay, where do we want this ad placed? If you guys have an Instagram account and it's linked to your Facebook account, it should show up here. Again, if you don't know how to link that, that's a different topic, different video, but you can do that from your Instagram. Call to action button. You should never have no button. You should always have a call to action. Every ad should always have a call to action. And what I should say up in the description is, in the description, you should have a call to action. And a call to action is, you need to tell the person that's reading this, you need to tell them what to do. So call this number or click this button. For a Facebook ad, it's going to be click the button below. That's your call to action. So I keep wanting to do this with my mouse and my computer. We're going to open this up and select, it could be learn more, book now. This is a little bit up to you, but let's just say that it's learn more. It's a common one. Now what's going to happen is they're going to give you a preview of what your ad is going to look like. Okay, so they're going to give you a preview of what that ad's going to look like, and because we chose 2 pictures, we can actually see both of them. So that's pretty cool, right? We've basically created an ad in a couple of minutes, and we've done that right from our phone, which is awesome. I would probably recommend shortening up the headline here so that you can actually read the whole headline without having to click it open. But other than that, the ad looks good. So now what do? We go to this little arrow up at the top and we move it forward. And now this is where we start to select our audience. So here we selected our photos, then we selected the ad copy. Now we're selecting our audience. Now it's going to give us a bunch of different options. I'll show you guys what it's going to give you. We've got liked your page, so people that have liked your page, people that like your page and their friends, people that have engaged with your page, engaged with any post or ad, which is good. That means we're going back to people that have watched our stuff before and have showed interest in it, and we're showing them more interest so that we're actually retargeting, we're re-showing the ad to people that have seen it, which is kind of good because people sometimes they need to see an ad multiple times for them to actually recognize it and engage with it. Or we can look at people that have visited your website. And these are all good options. We can use all of them effectively. But often what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be asking to create a new audience. So that's that part there. This is what this looks like. Make sure that you actually create an audience that's going to be an audience that is going to buy your thing, whatever your thing is. So most likely, is your audience going to buy at 13? Depends on what you're selling, but for a lot of us, no. So we're going to raise the bar there and say, you know what? Really, people don't actually start looking at us until they are, and this is up to you. But in our case, we're probably looking at maybe around 30, and then we can go up to 65. Now, this also depends on who you're targeting. In this case, maybe I target this ad specifically for moms, and so maybe I'm not going up to 65 for this one. Maybe I'm saying, you know what? The moms that come to our resort, the ones that are our ideal guests, typically speaking, you know, they've got kids that are younger kids. Honestly, usually their kids are not that old. They're not into their late teens. And so you have to say, how old is a mom that has kids that are, let's say, under 15 for the most part? Well, if they're under 15 for the most part, 50 would be kind of, you know, that's more or less where I'd say after that, their kids are starting to often get a little bit older. So maybe that's who I'm targeting. Then in this case, because it's moms, I'm going to target women. And then the audience name, I can create this name. I can call this whatever I want. So I can call this, I can just call this like Cozy Cabins, let's say, mom. Now I've got a lot of Cozy Cabin mom audiences. So I'll call this Cozy Cabins mom example, just so I don't mess this up. And then let's see what else we got. I'm not going to target anyone by language. My audience is too specific and has a potential reach of 1,000 people. Probably because of this targeted demographic up here. It just put this in here for me. I don't need all this stuff. So maybe I'm looking for moms. Let's see. I'm looking for ones that are, maybe they're just interested in hiking, let's say, right? So hiking trails. They're interested in hiking trails. So we're going to go with that. Now that's 14 million people. Like there's tons of people there. Maybe they're interested in hiking boot. We can add that. Or hiking equipment. We'll look at those people because if they're interested in hiking, there's a good chance they'll like the outdoors and they'll enjoy our resort. So I'm going to hit this little check mark up here. That defines our audience. And I'm going to hit that check mark again. This is a new audience, but now we're targeting Cozy Cabins mom example. Now, if you have existing audiences, it's awesome because you can click any one of these buttons that you might have created a different audience for before and go after one of them. From there, we move to the budget page. And here, this is where things get interesting for a small business owner. But honestly, I think that you can be pretty effective with an ad for your small business if you are spending anywhere between $10 to $20 a day. A really common one for me is to spend $15 a day per ad and run it for 3 days. Because after 3 days, I generally have a pretty good idea of which ad was winning, and then I can create a new ad set based on what the winner was and saying, okay, this looks like this is what people are engaging with. So we'll create a new ad with the winning picture and change out maybe the headline. Which actually says right here, between 3 and 14 days is what you need to have some kind of accurate test results. And then let's see, delivery optimization. Again, here I'm going for conversions. If you don't have the ability to go for conversions, then what you're going to be doing is you're going to be clicking on this one, which is link clicks. Because what happens when Facebook gets the instruction to go after conversions or link clicks, now what it does, rather than just showing that ad to everybody, it's going to work. So Facebook's actually going to work for you to find the right people because it can only charge you if someone, for instance, clicks on your ad. So if it can only charge you when someone clicks on your ad, they have to find the right people to click on your ad, which means that person's going to be just a better fit for your business. So it's not going to show it to the random person that has no interest in what you've got. Facebook's actually going to work to find the person that's interested in whatever you're selling. So either conversions, or if you don't have a pixel, then hit link clicks. Bid amount, I'd say leave it as automatic. And then when you get charged, right now we can't change this from here, impression, but it's okay. We're going to leave it. If we hit link clicks, actually, wait, I wonder if that changes this. If I do this. Okay, so if I hit link clicks, then go with, definitely hit CPC. CPC stands for cost per click, and you only get charged when they click it. So that's what we want. All right, from there, we hit that little check mark. And now I've got all my payment and everything set up. So I can hit start now, or I can say, you know what, I want to start this, let's say on the 1st of the month. I can set that if I hit start later. But we've got this all set up, so we're ready to run. So I'd say start now, and I'm not going to do it because I've already got various ads that have run, and I don't need to right now to create another ad. So I'm not going to hit start now. But you guys get the idea. From here, boom, all of a sudden that's it. Now your ad is created, which makes this whole process pretty simple, especially once you've done it a few times. Once you've done this a few times, guys, you should be able to create an ad honestly in under 5 minutes. I've created a number of ads in 5 minutes or less, where you're just testing, you're trying different headlines, different pictures, different copy being the writing that you're putting in the ad, and you're just trying to see which ones are going to be converting better. Now, what this process will give you, let's see if I can go back actually on this thing. I don't think I can cancel the whole thing, but I might be able to go back if I hit the back arrow a billion times. Oh, discard. What it will give you is it'll give you reporting. So if I go to Cozy Cabins Nature Resort, for instance, it actually will tell me how my different ads are doing and what my conversions are. So conversions means that people have actually gone to the contact page and sent us some contact information, and it tells us how much we're actually paying for those conversions. In this case, $1.93 per conversion. Here, 45 cents per conversion, and I can go back from there. So this little thing that looks like a test tube, this means that these ads were tested. So we were split testing ads, which means that we had at least two different kinds of ads that were running. In this case, two different kinds of pictures. The other place that you can go and you can find this information, I will show you. Let me pull this up. Boom. So let me go into my Facebook, and is this my account? No, these are a couple of different ads I was running. Actually, let's cover that before I actually go into where you can see your conversions and how you read and what you're actually looking for in terms of your numbers and your data. Let's talk briefly about what kind of goes into a Facebook ad in terms of what you write on it to get people to convert. So when you're writing out your Facebook ads, I follow a simple copywriting formula. Formula for me is first create a headline that actually hooks people in, and find one of those 4 headlines that I told you about earlier. So the headlines, the 4 headlines I'm talking about, 4 different types, are either a headline that addresses self-interest, a headline that is some kind of news-based headline, or a headline, or a headline that is creating curiosity, or a headline that addresses the quick and easy way. So in this case, I'm putting a headline out there that is self-interest. So stress-free Okanagan family vacation and boutique resort. Self-interest, we know in this case, again, we're going after a mom here. So we know that often moms are stressed out because they got a lot of responsibilities. So we're promising them something here that's different from the average day-to-day for them. From there, what do we do in our writing, the way we write our ads? The way that I will often write an ad follows a very simple formula. And I didn't make this up. This is something that's just based on science that marketers have done for decades, if not a lot longer, if not probably hundreds of years. And that is starting with hooking them in with the headline, and then going into what's the biggest challenge that person is facing right now? What's the biggest challenge that your customer is facing? So we're actually going to address that challenge. We're going to write it out, either their challenge or their frustration or their fear. And here I've basically written out, in this case, I've written their fear/frustration for these moms, which is they don't want to go to someplace on vacation and have to deal with crowds and worry about their kids. So avoid crowded, overdeveloped resorts this summer. And then what I do from there is I take that pain point of theirs, and what I'll do is we what we call intensify the pain. So we want to make sure that we're not lying about anything, but we're just bringing to reality what that person's actually thinking. So you don't want to spend your vacation anxious about where your kids are or who they're with. So then what we do from there, after we've intensified the pain and after we've actually addressed what that person's really thinking, we introduce a solution. So here, these next 3 lines are me talking about a solution as to, in this case, what their vacation could look like or should look like. After you've introduced the solution, you will either say directly or allude to the fact that you are the solution. So here, I'm alluding to the fact that we are the solution, a place that only takes 35 guests at a time on 60 acres and doesn't sandwich you next to everyone else. And then from there, from you being the solution, sometimes you can go into social proof. So that's like having testimonials or how many people you've worked with. In this case, I don't do that. I launch right into the call to action, which is telling them exactly what they need to do. So if you want a real vacation this year, click the link below and book before January 31st. Now, there's two things that I will always try and put into any of our marketing or advertising, and that's scarcity and urgency. So in this case, it's right in the ad itself. Scarcity, there's only 35 guests that can come at a time. And urgency, they need to book before January 31st. You don't have to have a reason for them necessarily to book before January 31st. You can just put that information in there. So for us, I literally just set that date and said book before January 31st. Is there any penalty for them booking after? No. We just gave them a date to say book before January 31st. For them, it's better. They get a lot more selection in terms of what's available to them in the summer. Because by end of February, we're not going to have anything left for the resort. At least there's a good chance. So book before January 31st means they're going to have some decent selection. Let's take a look at an ad that's slightly different approach, but it's working for us as well. So in this case, now you can see it's the same picture. Why is it the same picture? Because we split tested this picture and we found that this picture converts really well. So this is an ad for us that's converting really well. In this case, we took a headline that it involves two things. So it involves self-interest and curiosity. So we put here the secret to bonding with your grandkids in Canada, but we don't tell them what it is. So we really play on that curiosity. And then we, up here in the copy, it's a lot briefer. We just say how we take screen addicted grandkids, put them in a unique setting with their grandparents, and turn them into engaged creative thinkers. We're just creating curiosity in this ad. And if they click learn more, what's interesting is that it doesn't take them to the website. It takes them to a landing page or a sales page. We're going to use that same. It's the same thing, just different ways of saying it. And in this case, I used ClickFunnels to create this sales page. So it doesn't go to the website. It comes here and it talks to them specifically. So we created this specifically to talk to grandparents and talk about what are the benefits of bringing their grandkids to a different setting and how do they bond with their grandkids. So it's really it's almost like an article that we put together here, and we go through it. There's lots of testimonials and how this works and what it should look like. And then at the bottom, they have the ability to either phone or fill in the form if they want us to get in touch with them. So from here, they get in touch with us and we book them in. And that's also working for us right now. So how do you see this? What does it look like to you? Let me just, this is where, so if you guys are in Facebook, I wonder if I actually have a separate, let's do this. If I open up Facebook, give me a sec. So if I open up Facebook, where do I get all this information? I go here to this little arrow. There's a drop down in there. And then now in my case, I've got a business manager. If you don't have a business manager account, it'll probably be under manage ads, which is down here. And in manage ads, you can click that, or you can click in your business manager account. So I'm going to go down and hit manage ads. In this case, here's my account. You give that a sec to load. Oh, it's interesting because maybe it's because I switched this all over. Oh, you know why? Hold on, let's see. I don't come in through this way anymore. I always go through, yeah. Because I separately created these accounts for the business. So if I go in for the business, this is essentially what you're going to see. And here, this is awesome because this is on the back end. This is where it's going to tell you. So we can go to the different campaigns that we've run. Campaigns are like, what are the things that you want to sell? Either the services or the products. Often we'll create campaigns around those big things. From there, we'll separate them into different ad sets. So from the campaign, we've created different ad sets. So let's say the campaign is selling summer vacations. We might have ad sets for for fathers, for mothers, for family reunions. We don't really do that anymore, but we did. In this case, let's go with grandparents, because that's what we're talking about. Go to add sets. No, I got lazy. You should label these. You should label these what you're actually advertising. But here we've got a few different ad sets for grandparents, just testing them. Now if I go to the ads, here are the different ads and what they look like. So the reason I've only got one active right now is because we actually just finished. What you can do is you can actually set Facebook up to stop delivering ads that are the losing ads. So after a certain number of days, if it's like, hey, one ad's outperforming the other, then what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're using the winning ad. So in this case, I've used a whole bunch of different ads here for grandparent ads. Found out that this is the winner, so that's the only one that's currently running. And you can see here I've got a daily budget of $15, and it's showing me how many people have actually reached the contact page. How many people have you're looking at here. You can look for the definitions here, guys, if you're not sure what all this means. But how many people have actually seen it, how much it's costing you to have somebody actually go through, in my case, go through all the way to the contact page. It's cost me $138. Part of the reason that this is a higher number than some of these others is because some of these other tests, I didn't actually have them go through that whole article thing that I showed you, my landing page. I just had them go straight to the website, in which case, the less we put in there, the higher likelihood that they're going to reach that contact page. However, even though we're getting less people to come through, so although we have less people come through, the chances of them actually converting, in other words, the chances of them actually buying our product are a lot higher. In this case, we've only spent $56 on that ad so far, and it's ongoing. The relevance score, this is something to pay attention to as well. This relevance score just tells you, is this actually engaging with your audience? Like, have you created an ad here that your audience is actually reading, actually engaged with? So the relevance score, a relevance score of 10 is awesome. It's really, really good. That means that you're creating ads that are really engaging for your audience, highly engaging for your audience. It means you're doing a great job. So that's what we're looking at when we're looking on the back end. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for how much have we put into, well, how much we put in the budget, we'll already know because we set that earlier. And then what we're really looking for are these results. How many people have either clicked on the ad or reached the contact page? Because that's where my pixel, it doesn't have to be the contact page, but how many people have reached the page where your pixel's sitting on? The reach and the impressions, really that doesn't mean that much to you right now. What you're really looking at here is if this is something where you have either a pixel or cost per click, it's going to give you cost per result. And that's really what you're looking for, is which one of the ads is winning out, so you know which one to keep using and to test against. So guys, I think that covers the short, I know you're probably gonna say that's not short, but the short version to Facebook ads, how we put them together in a fairly simple way on our phone, because you can get a lot more complex once you start putting ads together back here. So how to put together an ad, what's the different types of ads that you can put together, different types of headlines, how we put together copy that converts, and what you're actually reading for results. I think that answers all of the questions that we had around Facebook ads, at least on the simple side. If you're really interested in understanding, like, how do I put this together, and there's a lot more questions I've got, you can always reach out to me and say, hey, do you have any more information for Facebook ads? If there's enough people that reach out to me, I might look at creating a course, a Facebook ads for small business course. But other than that, this will get you a good chunk of the way. So yeah, that's Facebook ads. If you guys have any questions for me, just type them below and I'll make sure I get back to you either in one of these videos or privately. All right, guys, this concludes Marketing Mondays as far as Facebook ads is concerned for this Monday. Stay posted for the next video, which is going to be on hiring, how to hire the right people. Cheers. Well, my page is not loading, so it looks like I'm going to be hanging out with you for a little bit. There we go. Okay.